Dear students, today we are going to study a new chapter, Nutrition in Plants. During this learning process, you will come to know how to define nutrition and what nutrients are. And you will learn to differentiate between autotrophs and heterotrophs. And one can understand the plant produces food in the form of carbohydrate and the process of photosynthesis. And you will learn the different type of heterotrophic nutrition. You perform the activity to show that during photosynthesis the starch is synthesized, and also the light is very much essential for the photosynthesis process. And you will know about that how the nutrient content of the soil will be enriched. In this topic, we are going to discuss in detail about the following topics. What did you see in the picture? So, you see the living organisms. The living organisms differ from each other, but all the living organisms have some unique character. So, if you take the living organisms, all the living organisms grow in size and number, and it take food, that is nutrition. It need food for the functioning of the body. Next one, it need oxygen for producing energy, that is it respire. All the individual produces their own individual to grow their generation. Next, all the living organisms show some type of movement or locomotion. So, the living organism's body also produces some waste material. It will be removed timely from the body. All the living organisms show sensitivity towards the surrounding. So, among all the life processes, today we are going to deal in detail about nutrition. You all know the nutrition in the sense the food is very much essential. The food is required for all the living organisms to carry out all the other life processes. So, why do the organisms need food? So, all the living organisms need food to get energy to do the various activity in the day-to-day life. Then, all the living organisms grow in size and number. For that also it need food. Then it will repair the damaged body parts with the help of the food. Then in the previous slide we discussed about various life processes. All these life processes will be carried out only with the help of the food. So food is very much essential for our body and all the living organisms. Now if you take food, we used to take food with a different component, that is carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins and minerals. All these component of food is very much essential for the living organisms. So these component of food which is essential for our body is known as nutrients. Then what is meant by nutrition? The living being take food in various forms, and the food will be utilized in the body and the energy will be supplied. So, the mode of taking food by the organisms and how the food will be utilized in the body is known as nutrition. To carry out the nutrition process, the body needs some special structure. In cells, we have some special cell organelles, namely chloroplast and mitochondria. These help in taking of oxygen and releasing of energy. So, with the help of this structure, the plant carry out the various life processes and also the photosynthesis process. Now, you all must be wondered how the plant will get the food. Which part of the plant will prepare the food? Whether all the plant part can able to prepare food or only certain part can able to prepare. Then, the some material which needed for the preparation of food in the plant. How it reaches the plant? How the plant obtain this material? So in the nutrition, we are going to deal with two modes. The one is autotrophic modes of nutrition and second thing is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In autotrophs, here the green plant prepare their own food with the simple substances. Auto means self, trop means nourishment. Here the plant do photosynthesis and prepare their own food with the help of a simple substances. Heterotrophs. Here hetero means others, trop means nourishment. Here these organisms depend upon other organisms for their food. That means it take ready-made nutrients from the other organisms. Such type of organisms are known as heterotrophs and this mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic modes of nutrition. The examples are animals. Now, in this food making process, we are going to deal how the photosynthesis process takes place. In green plants, with the help of a solar energy, it prepares the food. Here the sunlight will be converted into chemical energy with the help of a pigment called chlorophyll which is present in the leaf. And with the help of carbon dioxide and water, the plant prepare their own food. This process is known as photosynthesis. Here, photo means light, synthesis means to combine. So, during this process, the green plant trap the sunlight and convert into chemical energy by using carbon dioxide and water. It synthesizes carbohydrate. So, during this process, the sunlight is the very important source. So, without sunlight, no plants can do photosynthesis process. Without photosynthesis process, the plant cannot prepare their food. So, all the animals, that is heterotrophs, which depend on the autotrophs, cannot survive in the earth. So, here the sun is the ultimate source of energy for all the living organisms. Now, during this photosynthesis process, the green plant, with the help of chlorophyll pigment, it traps the solar energy and use carbon dioxide and water and prepare a simple carbohydrate. During this process, it releases oxygen in the atmosphere. During this photosynthesis process, there is a role of so many things like chlorophyll pigment. You all see around you the plants are in green color. The green color of the plant is the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll pigment present in the cells of the plant, that is known as chloroplast. Chloroplast is a cell organelle. In the cell organelle, we have a colored pigment, that chlorophyll. This chlorophyll is able to trap the solar energy into chemical energy. So, using this solar energy, the plant uses carbon dioxide and water and synthesis carbohydrates. The next thing is stomata. So, stomata, if you see the surface of the leaf, you can see a tiny pores with the help of microscope, that is known as stomata. It is surrounded by a guard cells. These tiny pores help in the exchange of gases during the photosynthesis process. So, during this process, these stomata take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So, like this, the plant gets the carbon dioxide from the stomata. The next important thing for the photosynthesis process is water and minerals. So, the soil, from the soil contains so many minerals. These plant roots absorb water and minerals from the soil with the help of a root. And these water and minerals will be transferred to the leaf by the vessel, which run like a pipe throughout the stem, branches and leaves. So, using all this material, the plant prepare their own food in the form of carbohydrate. In plant, the carbohydrate is stored in the form of starch. Now, how you can know that during the photosynthesis process, the plant produces starch? For this, we can perform a simple activity. For this activity, you need a healthy plant. So, from the plant, you can select any one leaf and you cover the middle part of the leaf with a black strip paper with the help of a paper clips. Then you leave this plant in the sunlight for 3 to 4 days. After that, you pluck the leaf from the plant and remove the paper clip and take out the black paper and keep the leaf inside the test tube containing alcohol and place the test tube inside the beaker containing hot water and you heat it for some time. Then you take out the leaf with the help of forceps and just do the iodine test. The iodine solution which gives blue-black color with the starch. So if you see that leaf, the covered portion does not show any color change, but the uncovered portion you can see some type of color change. What does it mean? Here the uncovered portion is exposed to sunlight. So the plant can able to produce their own food with the help of photosynthesis process. But in the covered area there will be no sunlight, so their photosynthesis does not take place. So that is why the uncovered area remains without any color change. So from this activity we come to know that during photosynthesis process the plant prepare carbohydrate in the form of starch and stored in the leaf in the form of starch. Now let us watch a video to know how the sunlight is very much essential for photosynthesis process.
Importance of light in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process of converting light energy from the sun into chemical energy through a complex biochemical reaction. The process of photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplast, specifically called chlorophyll, the green pigment involved in photosynthesis. In this process, inorganic compounds such as water and carbon dioxide are converted into organic materials such as glucose. Molecules of glucose later combine with each other to form more complex carbohydrates such as starch and cellulose. To do the experiment we require a healthy potted plant, boiling tube, iodine, petri dish, methylated spirit or alcohol, distilled water, forceps and a hot plate. Procedure: take a healthy potted plant and keep it for 2 to 3 days in a dark place. Remove the plant from the dark room. Take 2 uniform pieces of black paper and paper clips. Select a healthy destarched leaf and cover a portion of the leaf on both sides by using these 2 uniform pieces of black paper. Fix the 2 ends of the black paper using paper clips. Now, place the potted plant in sunlight for the whole day. Pluck the covered leaf in the late afternoon. Remove the black paper from the leaf. Take a beaker containing distilled water and place it over a hot plate and boil it. Put the experimental leaf into the boiling water and boil for 5 to 10 minutes till the leaf becomes soft. Remove the beaker from the hot plate and allow it to cool for some time. Take another beaker containing distilled water and place it over a hot plate and boil it at 60 degrees centigrade. Take the bottle containing alcohol and pour it into a clean boiling tube. Place the boiling tube into the beaker containing water that is boiling. Take the leaf from the beaker using a forceps. Place the leaf into the boiling tube containing alcohol. Keep the boiling tube in the beaker till the leaf becomes colorless. Take the leaf from the boiling tube using forceps. Dip the leaf in the beaker containing distilled water and wash it. Place the leaf in a petri dish. Take iodine solution using a dropper. Drop a few drops of iodine solution on the leaf. After iodine treatment, the color of the exposed portion of the leaf turns blue-black and the unexposed portion of the leaf turns a pale yellow. Starch is one of the end products of photosynthesis and turns blue-black on contact with iodine. The exposed portion of the leaf that turned blue-black shows photosynthetic activity, while the unexposed portion shows the reverse. This indicates that light is essential for photosynthesis. Precautions. The experimental leaf should be healthy. Clip the black paper carefully to the leaf so that the covered portion does not receive any sunlight. After boiling the leaf in alcohol, it should be washed in water.
Now let us discuss about the synthesis of food other than carbohydrate. You know that plants prepare their food in the form of carbohydrate. In carbohydrate, there are some elements like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So with the help of this element, the plant prepare other component of food like protein and fat. But for the synthesis of protein, the plant need nitrogen. Nitrogen is present plenty in the atmosphere, but no living organisms can take the nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. That is why the soil contains some microorganisms that can fix the atmospheric nitrogen in usable form. The plant can take the nitrogen from the soil in this way. And you might have seen the farmers spraying fertilizer in his field. So this fertilizer contains nitrogen rich component. By using this fertilizer also, the plant can take the nitrogen. Now using this nitrogen, the plant prepare protein also. So by this way, using the simple element like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen compound, the plant prepare other component of food like fat and proteins. The plant with other colored leaf, that is the large amount of red, brown colored leaf, also contain chlorophyll pigment. Here the large amount of this other pigment masks the green color. This plant also contains chlorophyll pigment and these also perform the photosynthesis process. In some desert plant, cactus, there the leaves are modified into spine and the stem is modified into leaf. In this plant, the stem performs the photosynthesis process. The next topic is about the different modes of nutrition in heterotroph nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, there are 4 different types. The first one is about saprotrophs, next is parasite, insectivorous plant and symbiotic relationship. The first topic is about saprotroph. During rainy season, you might have seen an umbrella-like structure growing in the rodent trees and some dead and decaying matter. So that is nothing but a type of fungi called mushroom. These mushrooms grow on the dead and decaying matter and take the nutrients from the dead matter. So here sapro means rodent, or you can tell us dead and decaying matter. Troph means nourishment. So in this nutrition, the organisms take nutrients from dead and decaying matter. So this mode of nutrition is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition and this organism is called saprotrophs. Example, fungi and mushroom and mold, etc. The next type is parasite. Some plant does not have chlorophyll pigment in it. You all know the chlorophyll pigment is very essential for the process of doing photosynthesis. So without chlorophyll, how the plant will get the food? How it derive the nutrients? So such plants climb upon other plant, that is known as host plant, and take the nutrients from the plant. So these plants are called parasitic plant. You might have noticed some yellow tender stem like structure growing on the trees and other branches. This parasitic plant is known as cuscuta. So it takes the nutrients from the plant which it climbs. Such plant is known as parasitic plant. The next type of nutrition is known as insectivorous plant. In this nutrition, the plant feed on animals and digest the animal and get some type of nutrients from it. This plant grow on the place where it take off some type of nutrients. It does not get some type of nutrients. So it will digest the insect and it will take the nutrients from the insect. So these plants are also called as insect eating plant. So such type of nutrition is also a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The examples of these insectivorous plants are Venus flytrap, picture plant and sundew plant. The fourth type of this heterotrophic mode of nutrition is symbiotic relationship. Here, two organisms live together and share their shelter and nutrients. Here is the organisms called lichen, a chlorophyll containing partner, and a fungi. Here, fungi provide shelter, nutrients and mineral, that is mineral and water, to the algae. Algae contain chlorophyll pigment. So with the help of this water and nutrients, algae prepare food with the help of chlorophyll pigment and share the food with the fungi. Like this, these two organisms, algae and fungi, share the shelter and nutrients and live together. Such a type of relationship is known as symbiotic relationship. The next example for symbiotic relationship is leguminous plant and rhizobium bacteria. In this leguminous plant, root nodules are present. In the root nodules, rhizobium bacteria will be there. This rhizobium bacteria cannot able to synthesize their own food. This rhizobium bacteria able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen in usable form. So this leguminous plant use the nitrogen fixed by the rhizobium bacteria and prepare the food. Here also these two organisms, that is rhizobium bacteria and the leguminous plant, share their nutrients and shelter and they live together. Such type of relationship also called symbiotic relationship. Here are some methods to enrich the nutrient content of the soil. The farmer growing the crops continuously in his field. So the soil nutrients which is utilized by the plant depleted day by day. So we have to enrich the nutrient content of the soil and increase the fertility of the soil. Then only the growing plants will get sufficient amount of nutrition. So by using different method, we can enrich the nutrient content of the soil. The first method is spreading manure or fertilizer in the field. So time to time we can spray the manure or fertilizer in the field to enrich the nutrient content such as nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. The next method is growing leguminous plant. You know that leguminous plant contain root nodules, in that rhizobium bacteria is there. This rhizobium bacteria able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil in a usable form. So the plant can use nitrogen compound. This plant fix the nitrogen, so the soil will enrich in nitrogen compound. So by growing leguminous plant in proper interval also enrich the nitrogen content of the soil. The next method is mixed cropping. Mixed cropping means in one field at a time we can grow 2 or more crops. This also will enrich the nutrient content of the soil and also reduce the weeds, etc. Next type is crop rotation. Crop rotation means instead of growing a same type of crop every season, you can change the type of the crop and cultivate every time. So this also enriches the nutrient content. The next method is field fallow. Field fallow is leaving the field uncultivated for some period of time, also enrich the nutrient content. The next method is making compost. So by using a dead and decaying matter or decomposable material, we can make our own compost and we can put it in our field. By this method, we can enrich the nutrient content. So there are 6 different ways we can enrich it. The first thing is spreading manure and fertilizer, and by growing leguminous plant and crop rotation, mixed cropping, field fallow, and also by making compost. As we have reached the end of this chapter, let us take a quick glance on what we have learned. The definition for nutrition and what nutrients are. Different modes of nutrition like autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. nutrition, and the food making process in the plant, that is photosynthesis process, and the essential things involved in the photosynthesis process like chlorophyll pigment, stomata, transportation of water and minerals, etc. How we can test the presence of starch and the essential of sunlight for photosynthesis process. And we also discussed about the different modes of heterotrophic nutrition in detail, about saprotroph, parasite, insectivorous plant and symbiotic relationship. In symbiotic relationship, we also discussed about the partnership between lichen, that is algae and fungi, and also leguminous plant and rhizobia bacteria. At last, we discussed the different method to enrich the nutrient content of the soil. For further reference, you can go through the following web links like Diksha, OLAB and Pathsala.